Welcome back to New Rockstars. I'm Erik Voss, and Hayden Christensen Anakin Skywalker has returned to Star Wars in Ahsoka, his ghostly de-aged form appearing in the world between worlds. Everyone is now wondering if this is really Anakin Skywalker or some kind of cosmic imposter, and after some initial speculation in my episode breakdown, I decided to do my thing, where I literally rewatch everything again twice. And you know what? I found some pretty big clues. Why did I do this? Well, because I really don't want to go the Marok route and overthink this, and just leave you with some loose guess based on an assumption that Dave Filoni is making the show only for people who have seen every episode of Rebels and Clone Wars. I really want all of us to get the most out of the show, to come from an informed place, to avoid the typical fan disappointment when we're led astray by these bullshit theories, and properly understand Dave Filoni's intentions for the world between worlds, what it can do, and more importantly, what it cannot do. So in short, it helps to know who the Son is, but there might be more interesting things for Anakin to be to Ahsoka. And the question we should be asking is not, is this Anakin? It's, how did Ahsoka get here? Now, I did break down the Rebels Season 4 World Between Worlds episode in the finale of our 4-part Rebels rewatch series, and the best thing you can do to catch up on everything you need to know from Rebels is to just watch those 4 videos. Okay, so the World Between Worlds is a cosmic dimension in which all points in time and space are connected by the Force. It was introduced in Rebels Season 4 Episode 13, A World Between Worlds. Ezra Bridger activates a mural of the gods of Mortis and enters this plane where he hears voices from the future in the past. He saves Ahsoka from her duel with Vader back from the Season 2 finale. We had never seen how Ahsoka survived that duel, and Ezra pulls her away from Vader's killing blow. To be clear, Ezra did not change history in this moment. In the final shots of that Season 2 episode, Ahsoka walked away from that battle, so now Ezra really just closed the loop of the history that was always set in course that way. But Ezra initially misunderstands this. He thinks he can alter history to save Kanan and Jarrus, but Ahsoka explains that Kanan died so that others could live. So the episode ends with Ezra and Ahsoka leaving the world between worlds, and Ezra really closes this gate by connecting with the sun part of the mural to destroy the temple. Now, to quickly address the theory I posed in my episode breakdown on Wednesday, is Anakin here in the world between worlds a disguise used by the god known as the Sun? Given the dark tones with the Vader music we hear at the end of the episode, the fact that Ahsoka met the bird Morai the first time she went in the world between worlds, and Morai is a representation of the daughter, yeah, this theory is a fun thing to think about. The gods of Mortis are how Ezra accessed the world between worlds to begin with, and Ahsoka's connection to the daughter is important, and Anakin's connection to the Sun foreshadowed his fall to the dark side. But I want us all to just, hypothetically game this out. If Filoni were to introduce live-action gods to Star Wars and bring back Hayden Christensen just to melt the actor away into a pale deity many viewers don't recognize, even if that deity were to be played by someone like Sam Witwer, yeah, that would blow our minds. But Filoni's goal with the World Between Worlds was to ground that surreal imagery with as much classic Star Wars familiarity as possible. So I don't know. I just wonder if the Sun might be a step too far for the, I'm guessing, 65% of Ahsoka viewers who didn't watch any of Rebels or Clone Wars. It's autumn now, and if you notice that when you see leaves falling out of your trees, you start thinking about your thinning hair, you should check out Keeps. Keeps is an online subscription service that makes it easy and more affordable for men to treat their male pattern baldness right from home. Keeps offers both of the FDA-approved hair loss treatment options, as well as a 2-in-1 gel that combines both treatments. The treatments offered by Keeps are 90% effective at treating hair loss and can increase hair growth by up to 35%. To get started, all you have to do is complete an online consultation that will get you matched with a treatment plan tailored to address your hair loss concerns. Once you've done that, choose a plan that works for your schedule. Treatment plans are affordable, typically half the cost of traditional pharmacy prices, with 3, 6, and 12-month delivery options. It's super easy to adjust or pause or cancel your plan if you need to. Keeps has helped nearly 1 million men keep their hair, which is probably why Keeps has over 4,500 5-star reviews. Hair loss stops with Keeps. For a special offer to get started, go to keeps.com/newrockstars or click the link in the description. That's keeps.com/newrockstars. Really, let's just clear up Dave Filoni's intention about the world between worlds. He told Sentiment Blend in 2018 that he does not see it as time travel. And really, you know what? I think it's just better to play the clip from the Rebel Season 4 Blu-ray where Filoni explained it.
The world between worlds, then, it's not about time travel. It's really not about time travel at all. It's just about a place where everything comes together and you hear different things echoing throughout time because it's all fluid in that moment, in that place. It's not this material thing that's linear. Everything is occurring all the time. And Ezra is more in tune with the things that are directly related to him, like when he was on Malachor and saw Ahsoka, like when he saw Kanan die. These things reverberate to him and he understands them more. The other voices he doesn't even understand. He doesn't know those people. They're just like the wind moving, and he recognizes some like Obi-Wan and Yoda, but he doesn't understand the context of anything that's going on. I don't know how real it actually is. I don't want to define that for people anyway, but it's not this place of gateways and doorways that you just go in and out of. Now, Ezra can pull Ahsoka into that world, but remember, she's smart enough to know that she can't leave that world through his door. She'll be destroying the natural balance and order of things. She has to go back from where she came. It's the same with Kanan. When you understand that, if he pulls him out of that world, he's got to put him back in a world where everybody's dead. And then you know that, wait, Ezra couldn't have even been in that world then. And so everything will break and will cause chaos and will cause destruction. So it's not this system of doorways, like you're on an elevator, getting off on different floors and different times. It's more like what the wolf tells Ezra. It's more about knowledge. Knowledge that you can use for your benefit of good, or knowledge that will lead to destruction. That's what it's about. But it's not my intention that it be this ability to walk through into somebody else's world. We have to keep being dedicated to being original and creative, and sometimes we take chances, and sometimes we do weird things like create Bendu or, mysterious wolves. But I think as long as you work off the principles of the Force that George set up, that it doesn't change it, and you don't erode what makes Star Wars special.
Thank you, Filoni. So when it comes to the world between worlds, it really does feel like Dave Filoni and the whole Lucasfilm family have been trying to clarify what the hell it really is ever since. In Dragon Con 2018, on a Star Wars animation panel, Henry Gilroy said, "I always got the sense that if somebody else had gone into that world between worlds, they would have experienced something completely different. They would have heard different voices echoing. The portals would have been different. So it's about what you bring into it and what your experiences are and what your connections are." And in October 2021, Mark Samarek's book, Star Wars: The Secrets of the Sith, came out, and Darth Sidious in that book described it like this: "This mystical realm connects all of time and space, creating a conduit between the living and the dead. Those who control this plane would possess mastery over all of existence, but gaining access has proved to be an unexpected challenge." So there you go. The world between worlds is a subjective experience unique to the visitor, and Sidious believes it's a conduit between the living and the dead. So we should look at the world between worlds here and the subtle differences in its design as a reflection of Ahsoka's own subconscious and her experience. So using that definition, we could see Anakin as a Force ghost, an expression of the part of his soul that died spiritually on Mustafar as Vader took over, which could be why he has the scar on his face like he did when Ahsoka said goodbye to him in Clone Wars Season 7 before he rushed off to Battle of Coruscant. His lightsaber does look darker, but I really just think it's the chrome reflecting his robes. However, Force ghosts do not need the world between worlds to appear. They can pop up anywhere. Qui-Gon Jinn's Force ghost appeared to Obi-Wan on Tatooine in the Obi-Wan series. And you know what? They didn't really have to de-age Liam Neeson that much. They did de-age Hayden here, and I think there's a reason for that. Anakin, or whatever this is not physically standing here in the world between worlds. And the world between worlds is not a physical dimension anyway. This Anakin is a vision unique to Ahsoka, and I dove deep into the visuals to prove it. Really, the more important Rebels episode to rewatch, more important than the World Between Worlds episode, is really Season 2, Episode 18, Shroud of Darkness. And why is that episode so important? Because it's more of an Ahsoka episode. The World Between Worlds episode is an Ezra episode. Shroud of Darkness opens with Ahsoka watching an old recording of Anakin teaching her Form 4 lightsaber combat, and later in the episode, she goes into the Lothal Jedi Temple and sees a vision of Anakin and Vader.
Ahsoka, why did you leave? Where were you when I needed you? Do you know what I've become?
Filoni 100% wanted to evoke this moment in Ahsoka this episode, because the framing of Anakin's reveal in the World Between Worlds is exactly the same framing of Anakin's vision in the temple over Ahsoka's shoulder in that moment. And again, Ahsoka, this episode ends with the same Vader theme music. We're as likely to see in episode 5 a shot of Darth Vader as we are anything else. And retroactively, many of those trippy moments in the Lothal Jedi Temple throughout the Rebels series were later realized to be our actual first glimpses of the World Between Worlds. So you don't need the Mortis gods to access it. Sometimes if you're just in or near ancient structures with spiritual significance, and if you're in the right state of mind, you can just find yourself drifting into it. We should also remember that Ahsoka's hand was burned with Night Sister magic when she tried to grab the spear. And later when we saw her palm, it did look like smoky scar tissue was still on her palm. Now, since Ezra Bridger's access to the World Between Worlds was based on his hand's connection with the daughter's hand on the mural, and then he closed it later by connecting with the son's hand on that mural, Ahsoka's hand being scarred this way doorway alone could be enough for her entry to this realm. Dave Filoni's quote described it as fluid, and Samaric's text described it as a conduit between the living and the dead. And the biggest visual change between the animation and the live action is the texture of it. It is aquatic, it's blue, it's like water, and we smoothly transition from the waves of sea toss into these ripples of stardust. And not just water, wind. Filoni also referenced wind when he described it, and throughout episode 4, even in these little moments, Ahsoka's Laku move in response to some mysterious breeze. So Ahsoka was not pulled into the world between worlds by Anakin the way Ezra pulled her in. She has been gradually drifting into this mental state the entire episode. She makes these Anakin-style power moves, like the overhead lightsaber position, like Anakin did against Dooku in Attack of the Clones. Move by move, she is recalling Anakin's Form 4 training, and Baylan explicitly brought up Anakin during their duel.
Everyone in the Order knew Anakin Skywalker. Few would live to see what he became. Surely that must leave a mark. Is that why you walked away? Abandoned him?
Your legacy, like your master's, was one of death and destruction.
So when Baylan knocks her off the cliff, she would have fallen into the crashing surf, of course. And if you look closely at the wide shot of the coastline back in episode 2, there is a bit of an inlet in the rock wall to the left of where the Stonehenge formation is. Kinda looks like maybe there could be a sea cave there. Maybe like the sea cave in Ahch-To in The Last Jedi that Rey dove into to mirror the soul journey that Luke went through on Dagobah that inspired Dave Filoni to create the world between worlds to begin with. So here, when Ahsoka sees Anakin, she calls him Master, and he says, "Hello, Snips." This is Ahsoka's memory of Anakin. That's why he has to be younger. So when Ahsoka fell, she hit the water not just as a physical body, but as a spirit warrior grappling with her unresolved issues with her former master. I reference Gandalf wrestling with the Balrog, someone ready to go through some spiritual transformation and to come out enlightened. Her proximity to death and the spiritual history of these Seatos ruins activated in her a heightened meditative state that allowed her consciousness to drift into the world between worlds, where she finds the memory of Anakin. So episode 5 is gonna be a big one. Dave Filoni is apparently screening this on movie screens in certain locations, so it's gonna be cinematic. We can expect other memories that are important to Ahsoka because this is about her, not about the world between worlds as some kind of objective cosmic plane. We could see, once again, her duel with Vader on Malachor, her duel with Maul on Mandalore, moments with Rex during Order 66 and Clone Wars. So again, this is not about time travel, it's not about some god toying with Ahsoka, it's about Snips's soul working through an unsettled history with her master. Let me know your thoughts on this in the comments below, and you can support our channel by grabbing an Ahsoka-inspired Fulcrum shirt available at nerdriot.shop. Be sure to subscribe to The Break Room for episodes of WikiLeaks, our Ahsoka after show. Subscribe to all 3 channels of the New Rockstars network. Follow me at EA Voss. Follow New Rockstars. Thanks for watching. Bye.